What is going on? It's your girl C-Positivista. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to talk about change and being ready for change and how you can essentially just prepare yourself for change to take place in your life. The first thing is, it's not enough to just want change. Wanting change is great. You want change, you want things to be different, you want your life to be different, you want things to just be not what they are right now. You wanting things is not enough. You need to take the steps. You need to make the changes. So say for example, 7 years ago, I decided to stop smoking weed. My life, my situation, my circumstances at the time were not great. So for me, it was like, I'd wake up, bill it, spark it up. Do you know what I mean? That was life for me. That was my norm. That was what was keeping me going at that time. So I started to want change. I started to want different. I started to say, you know what? I want life to be different. Like I want things to be different. But what I noticed is, as much as I wanted things to be different, things were not being different. As much as I wanted change, things were not changing. As much as I wanted, my situation to be different, it wasn't different. It was just continuing to be the same. So that's why I'm saying wanting change is not enough. You need to be able to take the steps. It wasn't until I decided, okay, I'm gonna throw away my Grindr, I'm gonna throw away, the Rizla and all the other things that were kind of enabling me to smoke, and decided to stop talking to this person that was supplying me with the goods, taking actual steps. I don't know what the steps looks like for you. I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know what it is that you want to change about your life. But whatever it is, really sit down and think to yourself, what steps do I need to take in order for this change to happen, in order for this situation to change, in order for this circumstance to change? I'm gonna leave the link up here. Go and watch my quitting smoking video. Like, go and watch that video. That video is gonna provide you with so many gems. That's gonna help you essentially to, if you need to quit smoking or whatever, or even if you're not trying to quit smoking, like if you're just trying to change your life, that video is gonna help you do that. So I'm gonna put the link right here. The next thing is letting go of the past. Nothing can change if you're holding on to the past. Nothing will change if you continue to hold on to the past. I'll give you guys an example. So I've mentioned this long time ago, and to be honest, these videos are no longer on my channel anymore, but I shared my abandonment experience, and I shared experiences of me being in foster care and things like that. However, with my situation, what I realized is one of the reasons why my healing journey took so much longer than it needed to was because I kept holding on to that. I kept holding on to what happened to me. I kept holding on to what they did to me. I kept holding on to all of these things that I had no business holding on to. So if you want things to change, if you want your circumstances, your reality, your life to change, you need to let go of the past. Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. I needed to even stop hanging around with people and stop speaking with people who would remind me of the past. People who would remind me of the things that I went through. People who would continuously be like, I can't believe they did that to you, I can't believe you went through that, Like, I had to stop being around those people. I had to stop talking, thinking, I had to let go of the past. And trust me when I tell you this, once I let go of the past, once I let go of that victim mentality, I stopped being a victim. Once I let go of the past, I stopped living in the past. because the present moment and you being here and you just embracing this very moment, this very reality, this very gift that you have. Present moment is a gift. It's a present. Get yourself into that mentality where you can say to yourself, okay, I'm in the present moment. This is it. This is the right now. And you just embrace it. Just embrace it. You know, I was nowhere near healed yet when I let go. When I decided to let go of the past, I was nowhere near healed. I was nowhere near healed. But trust me when I tell you, once I let go of the past and just started to live in the present moment and just started to practice gratitude and just be grateful for this moment, I didn't think about it. Didn't matter what they did to me. Didn't matter. The names that they called me didn't matter. The abandonment didn't matter. The family alienment didn't matter. Family breakdown didn't matter to me. And once I put myself in the present moment, once I put myself in the place where it was like, you know what? It's okay. I'm okay. It's happened. And I made peace, and it took me time. It took me a long time to make peace, but I made peace and I had to. And that starts from letting go of the past. And it's okay to reflect on the past from time to time. I do it often. Not as often as I used to, but I do it just so that I can get that boost to keep going. So for example, you know, there's times where I sit back and and when I do reflect, it's more from the perspective of like, wow, God, you really took me from there to here. As opposed to dwelling in the past. Like, I more think it's more from a gratitude place, from a place of gratitude, from a place of gratefulness, where I'm just like, God, I thank you. Like, I just thank you for this moment. For, you know, I say this all the time, like, my current life right now, I'm literally living the answered prayers of my younger self, because all I ever wanted was to have my own place, to have my freedom, to just be able to be and do. And I'm in a place now, I have a great job, I'm doing great, I'm traveling, I have my place, like my home. Like, I'm so happy right now. Like, I'm so happy right now. You don't even understand. Like, I'm so happy right now. Like, I'm in a place of just bliss. I'm in a place of just joy. I'm in a place of peace of mind. And none of that would have happened if I would have continued to hold on to the past. They say in order for you to know where you're going, you need to know where you've come from. If you don't know where you've come from, going forward, it's going to be a little bit tricky. So once in a while, from time to time, take a little glimpse. Take a little glimpse. Don't stay there. Don't live in that. Take a little glimpse back and then keep going. Because once in a while, I sit down and I reflect on all the things that have happened, on everything, even the people, the situations, the circumstances, the way that things just played out. A lot more things make sense now as well. I may share later on, you know, as time goes by, or I may not. So we'll see as the spirit leads, right? But let go. It's important for you to let go of the past. The next thing is letting go of people. In order for you to move on, in order for you to embrace change, you need to let go of some of the people. It may not be everybody, you know, it may not be everyone who's against you changing, growing, developing. It may not be everyone. But for those who are not going where you are going, for those who are not aligned, those who are not in alignment to where you are going, to that new version of you, they need to stay behind. I was in a relationship, and this particular relationship, I noticed that my partner and the person I was in a relationship with, first of all, the relationship I was in was toxic. So I was previously in a toxic relationship, and the relationship was toxic for various reasons. It wasn't physical abuse or anything like that. It wasn't even verbal abuse, really. It was more of the fact that we weren't able to let each other go. It was almost like a soul tie. Like we weren't able to let each other go for some reason. And it got to a point where I knew that I needed to move on from this relationship. I knew that I needed to let this person go in order for me to move forward. Within the relationship, there were many signs that this person wanted me to dim my light. This person wanted me to play it small. This person wanted me to keep quiet, to not take up much space, to be regular schmegular, And one thing about me, I'm not regular. I'm not regular. Like, I'm very peculiar, right? I'm very peculiar, and God has done every single thing that He's needed to do to prepare me for such a time and place. I feel that this person was stopping me from being greater, from going ahead with my purpose. I felt like they wanted me to play it small. I felt like they didn't want me to be outspoken. They didn't want me to it's like they just wanted me to dim my light, for me to play it small, for me to play it safe. But that's not what I'm called for. So I had to leave. I had to leave that relationship. It doesn't matter how long you've been with this person for. It doesn't matter how long you've known this person for. I'll give you guys another example. Like, I had a friend, and myself and this friend, we were very close. We were like this, like we were like Batty and Bench. But it got to a place where we just weren't aligned anymore. Where I was going and where they were going, two different directions. So I just had to step away, and I just had to let them go. And just because you're letting people go, it doesn't mean that they are bad people. Sometimes it's just about alignment. It's just about, like, say for example, if you're going somewhere and your choice of journey might be taking the train, their choice of journey might be driving, somebody else might be getting on a plane. If you're not agreeing on how you're going to get somewhere, if you're not agreeing that that's where you're going, if there's no agreement, then it's time for separation. And I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, because it wasn't easy for me. It might be easier for you. I don't know what your story is. I don't know what your journey is. But it's something that has to be done. The next thing is acknowledging your issues. Acknowledging the issues that are holding you back. Acknowledging the things that are currently taking place, whether it's in your heart, whether it's in your mind, whether it's in your circumstances. Acknowledge those things. Acknowledge the things that are holding you back from change, or that are holding you back from moving forward. So I'll give you guys an example. One of the things that were holding me back when it came to that time of change, and it came to that time of like just moving on, was my daddy issues. So my dad, he pretty much left my mum as soon as he found out she was pregnant. Now, my mum has never spoken negatively to myself. Like, my mum has never spoken to me negatively about my dad. she's always, she's always been respectful. She's always been, she's always kept it neutral. She's allowed me to have my own relationship. She's allowed me to, to just be and do things in my own way. However, my relationship with my mum has been a long distance relationship. And the reason why I say long distance relationship is because I didn't grow up with my biological parents. So I grew up with family members. Not to give too much details, I grew up with other family members. Where my father was not around, like where my father went to buy milk, he returned many years later. But when my father went away, that to me, I felt like he didn't love me. I felt like he didn't love me. I felt like he abandoned me. So that was the first issue. The second issue was the fact that I also had a mother wound. So where I didn't grow up with my mum, even speaking on the phone to my mum, I weren't really allowed. So it was when I got older, it's like the older I got, the more independence I had, and then I was able to speak to my mum. And that's how we started to have a more of a long distance relationship. But that's when we kind of started to build more of a relationship. And then a few years later, I went to live in Angola for about 2 years. Long story. But yeah, so just to give you guys a little background as to what was really holding me back, because sometimes you're thinking you want change, you want things to change, you want your life to be in a certain way, but it's something that's holding you back. And sometimes you might not necessarily be aware that this is holding you back. You might just be thinking, oh, it's all right, I just live with my mum who's a single mum. But deep down, subconsciously, you don't know that the absence of your father is holding you back from moving forward. And it's not until you deal with that. I had to deal with that. I had to go within myself and say, why is this bothering me? I was angry. As much as I never really expressed it. I was angry. How could you leave? And you never even had the chance to get to know me. You never even had the chance to figure out what type of daughter I was going to be. Yet as soon as you found out the idea of me, you left. And that frustrated me. That really did frustrate me. That really did bother me, and it was stopping me from moving forward with my life. I don't know what your issue is. I don't know what your, for me it was daddy issues and having that mother wound, especially as a young girl, growing up without your mum and your dad. That can have some effect. That can affect you in a different way. And it did affect me. It really did affect me. Childhood for me was confusing. Why are these people not here? Why bring me into this world if they're not going to be here for me? And it's like, yes, I did have family around. I did have family around. I did have, aunties and uncles and people around me. But for me, that wasn't enough. For me, that was like, where are these parents anyway? And they had their own reasons, since then, I've spoken to my dad, I've spoken to my mom, I've spoken on recent videos saying that I've recently just come back from Angola. So I've spoken to my mom, I've spoken to my dad. We're now in a much different place where I now have a relationship with my mom. I now have a relationship with my dad. And I've been able to move on, but it wasn't until I was able to address the fact that those things bothered me and it was very much an issue. So figure out what your issue is and deal with it. Because not dealing with it affected with my relationships and how I showed up in relationships. In a couple of videos, I'm going to touch on attachment styles, so bear with me. But it affected my attachment style. It affected how I attach myself to other people. So addressing my daddy issues or not addressing my daddy issues affected how I showed up in relationships and how I acted and was towards men in my life, and also how I attached myself. I attached myself to these men in my life, you know, in every relationship, romantic relationship I attached myself in an unhealthy way because of my daddy issues. Because for me, in my mind, I kept feeling like these men are gonna leave before they even get to know me. And I kept feeling that way. And that was because of my father's actions. Like I said, I'm gonna speak more on attachment styles in a separate video, but I'm just giving you guys a little glimpse of what could affect, like what could happen, or how not dealing with certain issues can hinder you from moving forward and embracing change in your life. Yeah, so I was anxiously attached to these people and these relationships. I I was I was always in a relationship, you know. I was always that girl that was bagged. Like I always had a man. And it's one of those things where it's like, we can toot our own horn and be like you go girl, like you go girl, you always got a man or whatever. That's not always healthy. That's not always healthy. So I had to take some serious alone time. Like I had to get comfortable with being alone and being by myself. I had to be able to walk away. I walked away from a relationship. I walked away from a man who loved me because I knew within myself that if I hadn't dealt with certain issues, daddy issues, mother wounds, I knew that as much as I was in this loving relationship, there would always be issues because of like my lack of due diligence. You need to do your due diligence as you're getting into relationships, as you're seeing people, as whatever the case may be. It's about you looking within yourself. Like, what are the issues? You need to look at your own issues. Look within and look at your own issues and say to yourself, what am I? When you start dating someone, and this person seems so perfect, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, hold on, what's wrong with them? Like, everything seems too nice. What's wrong with them? Yeah, you need to look in the mirror and say, actually, what's wrong with me? What issues am I having? What issues am I holding on to? What are my issues? You need to be able to self-analyze. You need to self-analyze. A self-analysis needs to be completed. Why are you not able to move on? Why are you always in relationships? After this one, you get into another one. Have you healed from the previous? No. So what are you doing in the next relationship? That was me. Okay? I was, I would always be like, yeah, I'm wifey. Like, that's why I'm always in a relationship. No, That's not why I was always in a relationship. I was always in a relationship because I was scared to be alone. I was always in a relationship because I was anxiously attached. I was always in a relationship because I had fear of abandonment due to what happened with my family, due to, not growing up with my parents, all of that stuff. Hence why I overextended myself. Hence why I was a people pleaser. Hence why, I was that girl that will stay in a relationship for so long, and I can tell that it's not working, but I didn't want to let go because I didn't want another man to walk out of my life. Hence why when I was, in my last relationship, oh God, I loved this man so much. I loved him. I really did love him so much. But I had to let go of him because at the end of the day, I had to choose myself. I had to choose myself and say, you know what? This ain't even about you. You're not even the problem. I'm the problem. And I need to look within myself and I need to work on myself. And if I don't do that, even if we are meant to be together, you will never be able to have the best version of me if I'm not able to work on myself. The next thing is, what relationships need rekindling? And the reason why I've made this one a point is because this is, for anyone who has been in a relationship and made their partner their everything. Like if you've made your partner your everything in the past, and now, now you've broken up from the relationship and you're feeling isolated and you don't have friends around you, maybe you need to rekindle, with certain friends. Maybe you need to rekindle. So for me personally, again, if I give you guys an example, for me it was due to like where I had a family breakdown. I was angry with everybody. I was angry with everyone in my family, even the people that didn't do me nothing. I was angry with everyone. I was like, you lot abandoned me. You lot are done out. I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, there was a lot of work. Like, when I tell you God had to work on me. God had to work on my family. So there was a lot of rekindling that I needed to do with certain family members. So I really sat down and I said, okay, who done me something? These lot, cool. Who hasn't done me nothing? These lot, cool. Do these people who haven't done anything, do they love me? Do they care about me? Are they interested in me? Do they want a relationship with me? Do they still want me around? And I was able to analyze that. And it turned out that, the family members who, like cousins that I grew up with, like they were missing me. Like they were missing me. Like even when we reconnected, it was just like, oh my gosh, like where have you been? Where have you been? Like you just disappeared. Like you never hollered. Like you just disappeared. Like when I tell you I am in a place right now with my cousins, like I'm in a place right now where we're so close, and I thank God. Like we're so close, you would think we're literally siblings. Like you would think, because we grew up together. So yeah, it's sometimes in order for you to embrace change, you might need to rekindle with certain relationships. And for me, it's been my cousins, it's been my aunties, it's been my uncle. Listen, me and my uncle, yeah, me and my uncles and my aunties, one time, this is when I was living at my old flat. One time my uncle and my aunties, they came looking for me because I just disappeared. Like I just disappeared. I never called no one. I weren't trying to talk to anybody. For me, it was like, you people abandoned me. I don't want nothing to do with you. But it wasn't them, it was the other side of the family. But I just mixed everybody in the same pot, right? So I remember this day, it was so cold. It was so cold outside. Like my phone was ringing, my phone was blowing up, like my uncle was calling me. I remember waking up in the morning and my uncle was outside knocking on the door, and I could hear them speaking outside, and I said, I'm not gonna open the door. And I remember saying, and I wasn't speaking to them, this is me speaking to myself. I was saying to them, I want them to feel the cold that's outside, because that's how I felt when I was alienated by the family. I wanted them to feel what I felt. And them being outside on that day, it was cold. It was blitz outside. It was winter. It was blitz outside. And when I tell you, I hurt my uncle. And I hurt him because of what other people did. He came to my graduation, and he's been that father figure for me. He has been that father figure for me. And yeah, I don't want to go too much into that, but rekindle. Open your heart. Open your heart. I don't know what your family have done to you. I don't know, I don't know your situations and your circumstances. I just know mine and what I went through. If you want change, if you want peace, then you need to do things differently. You need to do things differently. For me, it was like, just because I don't F with this side of the family, it doesn't mean that I get to miss out on family. Because there are other people within the family who do love me, who do care about me, who are willing to come from Hackney to Croydon on a cold blitz day, stand outside for hours and knock on the door. That was them fighting for me. That was them letting me know that, listen, we're here and oh my God. That was them fighting for me. That was them letting me know that, listen, we're here. Just open the door, please. And I never opened the door. 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 I left them outside because I wanted them to feel how I felt from being outside of the family, from being alienated, from being abandoned. But there are people out there who love you, who care about you, whether it's friends, I know women who have been in abusive relationships. Personally, I've never been in an abusive relationship, but I know women who have been in abusive relationships who they have alienated themselves and are now on the other side of that abusive relationship, and there's that shame there and there's that embarrassment where they may feel like where they may feel like, oh, I abandoned my family and my friends, and they'll probably never want to hear from. Just go knock on the door. Put your pride aside, because you never know. Like, if you see my relationship with my family now, my cousins, my aunties, my uncles, yeah, the fact that my parents are far away in Angola, the fact that my siblings are far away in Angola no longer bothers me, because I have a family here. People who care about me, people who love me, people are ready to do anything for me. Like, when I graduated, when I finished my masters, we had a party. I had a party with my family and friends. Like, my uncle was like, okay, what do you need? I was like, I need a DJ. All right, cool. How much is it? £600. Boom. Just like that. Okay, cool. Like my other cousin, what do you need? Oh, I need this. Cool. How much is it? Like my family came through for me. Like we sat down and they were like, what do you need for this party? Everyone showed up for me, like financially, like whether it's to just support and put things together. Like I've got a cousin that came from France, to attend for the day, like for the weekend. Like if you don't make those if you don't make those connections to rekindle those relationships, you will never know what you're missing. If you want change, if you want your life to be different, your life doesn't have to continue in the way that it is now if you don't want it to. You need to work on your inner man. You need to work on yourself. That's the only way. That's the only way things can change. That's the only way, that's the only way, and you need to take action. So thank you for watching this video. Whew, that was a heavy one, but welcome to your healing journey, and that's what these videos are all about. So I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more video content like this. Don't forget to click that like button if you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below. What change do you want in your life, and what steps are you taking towards making that change and embracing that change. And I'll see you on the next video.